That time of the season is upon us again, when we will be seeing some of the players switching clubs as the January transfer window is here. For some, it's likely going to be a free transfer, while for others, it might be their clubs getting rid of them. Here are some of the names we might be seeing switching clubs this January. We make the opening bid with Arsenal's number 1, Aaron Ramsdale. Actually, when compared with some of the performances that you will see in this video, Ramsdale might still be up the food chain. The arrival of David Raya to Arsenal might just have made him an option. Having been with Arsenal for 2 seasons, the keeper has had a fairly good performance. One will ordinarily see Ramsdale as a long-term prospect for Arsenal, but he's just lost his starting position to David Raya. The likely thing here is that Ramsdale will be seeing a lot less playing time than he used to, which is something that often makes players feel ill at ease. So there's a chance that Ramsdale might feel that his talents are being underutilized in the club and seek a new adventure. On the other hand, depending on how generous the offer Arsenal will get is, they might actually let the keeper go for something way above what he cost them, seeing that he might not be much use any longer. We wait to see how good of a decision this will be. Some others have been a disappointment to their clubs and might just be shipped out at the next possible opportunity. Ferran Torres seems to fall into this clique, as Barca might be finding it hard to reconcile the huge amount that they paid for him 2 years ago with his performance on the pitch. When he left Man City, expectations were high and even Barca had paid up £40 million for this player. But it seems that the player might have left his charm with Man City. Torres might have had some good times with Barca, but his inconsistencies seem to overshadow whatever good he might have done, going for really long periods without good contributions to the team. If he does leave the team, maybe that will be the push he needs to regain his glory. In as much as clubs will be on the lookout to grab players that they've had their eyes on, some other players might just be looking forward to the transfer window to get rid of some of the players they might consider a liability. One of such will be Andre Onana. Many will agree that Onana has maybe cost Man United more than he is worth this season and might just be up for a really short stay. The problem now is that clubs are looking for people who will help them and not those that might end up being a drawback in the long run. But who knows, maybe if United can get anyone bold enough to take the risk of taking Onana off their hands, Onana might just be able to find his form with such a team. There have been several stories of people who left a club and started doing great things that they were incapable of. I guess we'll see how that goes. Eric Choupo-Moting could also be looking at chances of being let go from Bayern. This won't be said to be hostile in any way, as the player has done really good for the club. But all good tales will definitely have an end. So it's likely that Bayern might be swapping him out for younger and more energetic players while they still can. Waiting for when the player will be out of form before making a move might be a huge loss for the club. Let's talk about Calvin Phillips and the chances he has with United at the moment. Despite his joining City for a very hefty fee in the summer of 23, Phillips has struggled to cement a consistent starting spot in the club. This could be blamed on Pep Guardiola's preferred rotation and playing style, which often utilizes Rodri as the main defensive midfielder. But to be honest, Phillips seems to be out of form the few times that we've seen him play, which I guess could have been blamed on his lack of playtime in the club. At this point, you can say that City might be looking for a way to recover the £40 million that they had paid for the player back in 22. What's your thought on this? Do you think that they stand a chance of getting any club that will be willing to pay more than the amount for Phillips this January if they decide to let him go? On the other hand, Kylian Mbappe seems to have been on the verge of a transfer saga for quite some time now. The player just seems to have been very indecisive for the past couple of seasons and has changed his mind at the last minute. The thing is, the player might be targeting this January for his rumored transfer to Real Madrid, as this marks exactly 6 months to the end of his contract with PSG. The implication is that he will be one of the players who might be switching clubs on a free transfer by summer. So we might see them sending the player on his merry way before he closes his deal with Madrid. Certainly, we will know what to expect really soon, as it's even possible that he might renew his stay with PSG. This won't be his first time backing off in negotiations if it happens. Now, when we speak of Thiago Alcantara in the list, it will just be fair to give the player his well-deserved accolades. based on his performance while with Liverpool. But the player seems not to be fit enough to remain with his current team. His injuries seem to be a huge hindrance to his performance, and Liverpool might be willing to let him go for some stable players. Also, Thiago's contract with Liverpool expires at the end of the season, meaning he's already free to talk to other clubs this January. If an attractive offer arrives, Liverpool might consider cashing in instead of losing him for free in the summer. This, coupled with the fact that Liverpool is on the lookout for younger players, are likely pointers that Alcantara might be going very soon. On the other hand, Robert Sanchez may also be in the category of players that their clubs might be looking for ways to let go. Well, Robert Sanchez's time at Chelsea hasn't been entirely bad. It's been a mixed performance so far this season, and he's been just a little over 6 months with the club. While the keeper has shown flashes of his potential, he has also made some costly errors that have made Chelsea fans mad, as it has cost the club some points. Despite the good start the keeper had when he moved from Bridgeton in the summer transfer window, where he had impressed people with his commanding presence in the goalpost, it seems that the subsequent errors he made might have affected his confidence. The presence of Kepa Arrizabalaga might be the beginning of the end for Sanchez at the club, but let's hope that the keeper will get chances for redemption. Unlike the others who might have a hard time fetching for a good price, Ivan Toney seems to be one player who will be highly sought after in his transfer window. Ivan Toney, the Brentford striker, had been on ban for placing 232 bets on football matches between November 2020 and January 2023. This is a violation of the Football Association regulations and resulted in an 8-month ban for every football activity. Outside the blow that having such scandals can do to his reputation, Ivan's performance before the ban had been exceptional, and he's had a very good chance of being snatched immediately he is free to play again. The rumor is that some big clubs are already on the lookout for the player, and this might be a very good opportunity to negotiate a huge deal for the player. We'll see how that plays out. Finally, speaking of players being transferred this transfer window, Eric Dier sure had it coming for a while before the confirmation by Tottenham this January. Eric recently moved to Bayern Munich on a loan with an option to buy, and this was announced on the 11th of January. We'll say that this is Arsenal being smart, as they were already at risk of losing the player on a free transfer when his contract expires by the summer of this year. Eric has already been seeing a lot less playing time with the arrival of the manager, Ange Postecoglou. It's safe to say that Dier fell out of favor with the manager, as he only made 4 Premier League appearances in the first half of the 23-24 season and has often played out of position as a right back, which could be attributed to his injuries. There were high risks of the player being unhappy and leaving them by the time his contract expires, and that could have been a huge loss for the club. Hopefully, Dier can find his place with Bayern and gain back his form. Well, that'll do it for this video, and we would love to hear from you about other players you feel are in the category. Till next time, bye.